So I'm not doing a skit or a promo or anything like that for this week's video. Instead, I think one of my best qualities is just how open and honest I am with you guys. So I thought I would just touch base with reality rather than what's going on in the wrestling world as far as my life is concerned. And right now I'm in my family's restaurant. This has been our livelihood for forever. It's been in my family for a little over 40 years now, and it's amazing to see how far we've come. If you're paying attention or if you hear any of the headlines, restaurants aren't exactly an option to have a very financially thriving lifestyle, I guess you could say. And I think the truth behind what exactly it entails being an owner of a restaurant, and the duties and the responsibilities and just the lack of profits there are in that world that can be made. It's really coming to light, and it's something I've known for a long time. Being who I am and having the wrestling, and just a real entrepreneurial spirit, I recognize that restaurant business models are broken, and I brought that to attention to my family for the past few years, and it's been fighting. Family businesses are hard, right? But the family dynamic and trying to fight for change and trying to get out of routine and just this is the way it is rather than the way it can be. I have been pushing very hard for change for a very long time, and I think this pandemic, the coronavirus, COVID-19, has begun the dialogue that I started years ago already with restaurant owners, to take a look in the mirror and take a look at how they handle and run their businesses, and to look at all the sacrifice they put into it without any actual context and knowledge to the way things can be. I think that there's going to be a huge cultural shift in how restaurants are run, managed, and branded. This place, it's been in my family for 40 years, and we shut down in mid to late March, I believe, and our doors for the first time are going to open this Monday, June 1st. And I was very hesitant. My family, of course, wanted to hurry and rush and get back to making more sales and seeing some familiar faces to kind of create a little bit of normalcy of what it was. But my main concern was ensuring the safety of everyone over the normalcy, because there is going to be a new normal. You hear those buzzwords all the time. And I'm confident now. I feel like we've done our homework, that we're creating a safe environment for our guests, that I understand that there are different mindsets when it comes to COVID-19 and how we should quarantine and handle public engagements, and all of that has been taken into effect because my primary concern is making sure that everyone here feels safe, has a good time, and gets the great amount of service that they deserve. That's my main priority. This, in a lot of ways, has been good and bad. Financially, of course, a restaurant is going to make the sales that they made before. That will bounce back eventually in time, I'm sure. But this, as far as good news is concerned, has allowed us to fast forward a little bit more and create some much needed change that I have been fighting for many, many years. The reason I haven't been as active on social media, the reason I haven't been doing these videos as consistently as I wanted to, is because I've been focusing on building the brand of this restaurant. I've been plugging away hard at it and really seen some massive growth that I am proud of, and that helps validate that everything that I believed in is true and is happening. And this whole process, this quarantine, all of this has just really sped things up in a good, positive way. For the way this business is and will be run in the future. We're in a small town. I say it all the time, and by small town I don't mean thousands of people. I mean in this village, in the boundaries of this village and a couple of neighboring farms outside surrounding the town, there are approximately 450 people. I can go down the streets and I know everybody's face. I know everybody's name. I know their kids. I know their grandkids. I know their favorite meals when they come in the door. It is so small. So for a restaurant our size, and it is massive, it is very hard to turn a profit during a pandemic like this. Luckily, there were government grants and loans put into place. There was some financial security able to help us out. But because of the social media, being able to communicate with that community and outside of it, we've been feeding neighboring towns. We've been feeding seniors in the area who don't have a meal program anymore because their cooks quit on them. There's been a real fighting effort. We didn't go down and blame people. We fought really hard to keep this thing afloat, and it's amazing to see how many people were willing and able to support us on a regular basis, and that kind of stuff really touches me. And I think that's where a lot of my empathy and compassion for humans comes from, is from this place, from seeing people and listening to them and their wants and needs, and understanding and having context to different lifestyles outside of my own. It's really changed my perception on life a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. So I wanted to do this as a real life update as to what's really going on behind the scenes with Jay Walker, the person. It's been very different. It's been very challenging. It's literally just been the family in this building every single day, except for some holidays here and there. Like, we didn't take days off unless it was a mandatory holiday. We were in here grinding, trying to come up with new ways to innovate and to attract the attention of people and to cater to their wants and needs during this time. And it allowed us to give a real long, hard look at the business model and make some very drastic, necessary changes to make sure that we weren't wasting money, that we were saving every dollar that we could, and that we were spending it wiser, and that we were again able to communicate our message and create a dialogue with the community to make sure that they felt safe and that they felt like they could trust us. And even now, I want to tell you that everybody that's been amazing to me on Patreon, some of the money that you guys have been throwing my way, I've actually spent on social media advertising, and it has worked amazingly. We have touched so many new people with our story, and I believe that when the doors do open up this Monday, we're going to see a whole lot of new people willing to see this scrappy little underdog placed in the middle of nowhere, and you try out our amazing food and see what kind of awesome service, personable service that we offer, and it's going to be amazing. And I never thought that my wrestling career would help this business that helped me a long ways, growing up. I started in this place when I was 12 years old, and before that I remember being 6, 7 years old, peeling potatoes and carrots with my grandma. It's crazy how this all went down. There's a lot of rules in place. Sanitizing when you come in, social distancing. There's X's on some of these tables that you're not allowed to sit at. Capacity is only at 50%. It's going to be challenging. But it's awesome to see things moving in a positive direction for us and for the community as a whole. There's, in our entire province, which is, I would say on average about the size of 3 or 4 decently sized states, to compare to the U.S. audience. Trying to compare it to Europe, but I don't really have a map to scale that. But Manitoba is a very big province, very, very big. And as of right now, we only have about 14 active cases. There was 2 new ones today, but for almost a week straight, we had no new cases. And we're testing like 7,000 people daily. So it's awesome to see that the quarantine has worked, that not very many people are infected. Nobody's in the hospital right now. We're under 300 cases total throughout this total pandemic. Trying to think of the death numbers. I don't want to give you a guess. But we've kind of been the leader in numbers, and I'm proud of that. And again, there's two mindsets around this whole thing as to whether or not it's real or just something. And I believe it's very real. I believe that it's out there. I mean, you see the death numbers. You see some of the stories of the families affected, the nurses who are in fear because they've come into contact, because the hospitals have come into contact. It's a very real thing, and just because it's not in our world doesn't mean that it's not in the world, and I'd rather not have it in our world. You know, my wife is somebody who is a little bit more symptomatic, definitely, than me anyways, and I had somebody in my face tell me that they should have just ran it through the community, ran it through society, and let it nature take its course. But you know, I don't want to tell my 7-year-old daughter that mom had to die so that we wouldn't, you know, live in fear of a sickness. I'm not afraid. I'm just going to be sympathetic and worry about the livelihoods of so many other people around me, and take them into consideration as well. It's not about me, it's about everyone. And from what I've seen, we've done a lot of traveling and experiencing different restaurants. You know, their drive-through windows, patios opened up a couple weeks ago, so we were kind of studying the way everyone was handling things, and it's been amazing to see actually people pull together with each other for the most part, with very little to no problems or tension throughout that. I think that's covers it. My schedule is eventually going to get back to normal. We're actually just starting to hire back some of our staff for this Monday, so that's going to be exciting to see. Family's talking about taking a day or two off, just to reset and recharge and just take your minds off of the daily grind a little bit. That's very much needed. I know mentally this has been very trying and challenging and exhausting. I know there was one big blow-up fight between myself and my parents over how we should be running this place, but cooler heads prevailed, and everything's okay now. But the end of the day, I think that there are going to be many lessons to take away from this for many people, and most of all, that is care for one another, and don't take things for granted, because it can take no time for the entire world to change just in a matter of seconds, and it's up to us to be empathetic and courageous too in moments like this, for everyone's betterment, for everyone to be able to enjoy their daily lives. So that about wraps it up for that. I mean, I could keep going on, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to expose you guys to my situation, my real life, rather than cutting promos and talking about this amazing historic run as Canadian champion. At the end of the day, I'm not defending my title, and that sucks so bad. I want to be in the ring. This year, I really wanted to get more dates than ever before. I had the big opportunity in March that slipped by because of all of this. I'm still focused. A lot of us are doing an all-out challenge, challenging ourselves to better ourselves physically and mentally, rolling right up to what will be all out in August. And I'm pushing hard. I want to be in the best shape of my life for when the next opportunity passes me by. And again, I want to say thank you to everyone on Patreon who has been supporting me amazingly through this pandemic. I have been trying to provide you guys with a lot more content, trying to give you a lot of value for what you guys invest in me as a performer and as a person. And so for the month of June, it's a little ambitious, but I'm going to do my absolute best to provide daily content through the Patreon for you guys, because you absolutely deserve it. I have some new merchandise on the way. I'm gonna get into that probably on the next video or two. Hopefully a big announcement. I'm working on some stuff. I'm really working hard on some stuff, but I wanted to give you guys that update, and I wanted to let you know that if you guys do invest in me, and that you guys do want to support me in that way, that I'm gonna make it absolutely worth it to you guys. So Patreon's going to be the place where it's at. Every single day there's going to be something going up, whether it be a new video, a photo. I've thought about commentating or some of my old matches and stuff. I thought that'd be fun to go and look back retrospectively, whatever it is. But there's a lot of good stuff along the way. Things are getting back to normal here for now, and that's going to loosen up my schedule to be able to double down a little bit more on Jay Walker, which I have been kind of pushed aside for a little bit. But things are coming back, and we're going to come at it hard and heavy. And there's, as I drop my camera, there's a reason why I called myself the social media superstar. It's because I believe in it from the bottom of my heart, not only as a professional wrestler, but as a restaurateur, as an entrepreneur. There is so much untapped potential in the world. And if I can do my thing and I can inspire someone else to do their thing and double down on themselves in the social media world, then that makes everything absolutely worth it. So stay tuned, guys. There is going to be so much coming your way real soon. Until next time, thank you so much. And everyone, take care of yourselves and each other.